Alrighty, you guys, so today in this video, as you can tell from the title, we are back for the second year of trying to predict what's going to happen during the Bassmaster Classic. So today in this one, we're doing the same. We're going to be showing off what I think is going to be the keys of the Bassmaster Classic and also what they're going to use and some predictions of like big fish and stuff like that. And I also have some winners and a black, or I was going to say black horse, but also called a wild card. Somebody that could possibly win it, but it's unlikely. So, the keys to winning the Bassmaster Classic. Now, I did it last year, and I got quite a bit of it right, which I was actually pretty happy about. I made a few mistakes last time, and I didn't do as much research as I should have. I've done some research on this one. I actually already know quite a lot about the Tennessee River, which is where they're having it if you don't know that. I know quite a bit about the Tennessee River because I've been wanting to go to Tennessee River for about 2 years now to bass fish, especially Chickamauga, which is where I really want to go. But I don't think they're going to be anywhere near Chickamauga. They're going to be quite a ways south of there, I think. It's either south or north of there. It's up in Knoxville is where they're going to be having this at. So my keys of fishing is fish fast. That's the first one. I have 4 keys that I think are going to work. Fish fast. Now, the reason why I put that on there is not to burn spinnerbaits and burn swim jigs and crankbaits, stuff like that, but not getting locked into one single area. Don't let 1 or 2 fish fool you. This year is going to be held in like March 15th, I think is when it starts. It's going to be I think it's going to be a run and gun style tournament. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of sitting in one spot and fishing this one spot for hours and hours. I think it's going to be a lot of fishing in different places. I don't believe that the Classic is going to be won off of one spot. A couple years ago, I think it was Randy Howell that won that tournament. He won it off of one spot. I'm pretty sure the one that Edwin Evers won was won off of one spot. I don't think it's going to be like that this year. I think that it's going to be, catch a fish here, catch a fish here, catch a few here, and basically you're going to piece up a limit. That's what I think is going to happen. Target mid-range isolated cover. What that means is target not deep cover, not shallow cover, target that middle area where the fish will be staging. And make sure that it's isolated. I think that if you are going to go out there and you're going to try to catch a lot of fish, and in a short amount of time trying to get a quick limit, I think the best way to go is to find backs of pockets and stuff like that, ledges, shallow ledges, and points are going to be a very big factor as well. Fishing in that depth zone between 10 foot and 4 foot, I'd say is probably where the fish are mostly going to be caught. The big fish, I don't really know. I'm going to say that probably the big smallmouth are probably going to be caught in that mid-range. But I think the bigger largemouth are probably going to be caught out deeper, within, between 10 and 25 feet, I'm going to say, somewhere in there. Lures that I think is going to win. I'm going to say that crankbaits, swim baits, those 2 moving baits are going to be the big moving baits of the tournament. I think those are going to be the things that are going to catch the most fish. A jig. I think that somebody's going to catch a big one on a jig. I also believe this is kind of a prediction. I'll go ahead and say it now. I think the biggest fish of the tournament is going to be caught on a jig. What type of jig, I don't know. What kind of fish, I don't know. It could be a largemouth or it could be a smallmouth. Could even be a spot. I don't know. I think that the biggest bass is going to be caught on a jig, though. Jigs, jerkbait. I think a jerkbait is probably going to be a kind of a bait that a lot of people aren't going to think of, but somebody's going to think of it and somebody's going to use it and they're probably going to win. Possibility. They're going to do well, I think, with a jerkbait. And the wild card picks for baits, I have chatterbait, which the reason why I have a chatterbait is for some weird reason, suddenly these smallmouth that I've been seeing on people been catching a lot of smallmouth here lately on chatterbaits. Black and blue and green pumpkin chatterbaits. I've been seeing those 2 colors smash the smallmouth, and obviously bass love smallmouth, largemouth love chatterbaits. So I think a chatterbait could possibly come into play. A big worm, something, like an 8-inch worm or 10-inch worm, could possibly come in handy for somebody looking for a kicker largemouth. Do I think it's going to catch the biggest fish? No, I think a jig's going to catch the biggest fish, but I do think that a big worm is going to be something that is going to be thrown quite a bit this year. I don't think it's going to be something like this, the big 13-inch magnet worm, but I do think that somebody's going to be throwing a big worm quite a bit this tournament. And the next one is an Alabama rig. Now, the reason why I put an Alabama rig is it is late spring, or excuse me, it's late winter, early spring down there, and I think that an Alabama rig is a possibility to catch a big fish or a lot of fish, mainly a lot of fish. You don't see a whole lot of big fish caught on the Alabama rig. There is a few, but more limit fillers are probably going to be caught on Alabama rigs. Another big key that could completely change everything that I just talked about is spawning smallmouth. Now, if the weather acts like it is now down in that area, I know it's a little bit cooler down there, but from what I've been seeing, it's supposed to warm up quite a bit, be in the mid-60s and mid-50s down there for quite a few days in a row. And if it's going to stay like that from now until when the tournament starts and keeps going through there, I do believe that we have a good possibility to catch a lot of spawning smallmouth during that tournament. I also believe they'd have a very good chance of using topwater baits. That's another prediction that I have. If the weather stays like it's been, and it keeps going and it keeps getting warmer, I think topwater, weather depending, could be a small factor. I think it'll probably be something like a buzz bait, something like that, or a small popper. That's probably going to be my two picks, topwater baits, if the weather applies. The next predictions that I have, there will be a 6+ pound smallmouth caught. I think that there's enough pros, enough really good fishing guys out there. I think there should probably be a 6+ pound smallmouth caught. What it'll be caught on, I don't know. Who will catch it? I'm going to say probably Kevin Van Dam or some random person that I don't know. That's probably going to be who catches them. Largemouth. I think there will be an 8+ pound largemouth caught. The reason why is I think that there's enough people, just like with a smallmouth, I think there's enough really good fishermen, and they know how to catch big fish. Who will catch it? I'm going to put my money on 3 guys. I'm going to put my money on Jordan Lee, a dude by the name of Drew Benton. I'm pretty sure he won the Texas Fest last year with a pretty good sized fish. And I'm also going to put out there, who was that? I forgot his name now. Gerald Swindle. That's who it was. I lost my train of thought there for a second. I think that Gerald Swindle it has a good opportunity to catch the big bass. And I think that if he gets on a good largemouth pattern up in the mid-range, I think he possibly could do it. The biggest fish, like I said earlier, will probably be caught on a jig. That's going to be my pick for the big bass. I think the big bass is going to be caught on a jig. And also, like I said, the topwater thing, I think if the weather applies, I think there could be some fish caught on topwater. So, the winners, who do I think can win? The winners, I have 3 main winners, and I have a wild card pick. So, my 3 main winners are Kevin Van Dam, just because I don't think you can ever count out Kevin Van Dam. Obviously, everybody knows that it's going to be like his last classic for a long time, unless he comes back. Everybody knows that he's going to be going to Major League Fishing. Actually, I think, all the picks that I have are going to be going to Major League Fishing. So I think that he's going to try his hardest to get that last classic in and make him a 5-time classic winner and make him like a record holder. I think he's going to be fishing a lot harder than he usually is. I think he's going to, put it in his mind to catch big fish. And I think that's going to be a big key for him. Jacob Wheeler, just because he's been on fire, he knows how to catch big smallmouth and big largemouth. He won the Cherokee Lake tournament. I think that was at the beginning of last year. He caught that doing a finesse bait. He was using a Damiki rig, which is a small jig head with a soft plastic jerkbait. I think that he can catch big smallmouth. I think he can catch big largemouth. I think the best thing for him to do is to go after bigger largemouth. I think he can do it. Hang on a minute. My thing messed up. My next pick is Wesley Strader, and the reason why is he is a Tennessee guy. He lives down there. He fishes down there. He knows how that place fishes. He knows how places like that fish. He's a big spinnerbait guy. He's a big flipper as well. He flips a lot. And I think that if he can get in some sort of an area where he can put his strengths to work, I think that he could possibly get a really good finish. If he doesn't win, I'd say he's probably going to get a really good finish. And my wild card pick is Jordan Lee. Now, my wild card pick last year, I'm pretty sure, was Jacob Wheeler. My wild card pick this year is Jordan Lee, and the reason why is because of how much he's been on fire lately. Him and Wesley Strader have been winning just about everything right now. He won the first inaugural Bass Pro tournament for the Major League Fishing. He's been on fire with the Major League Fishing select things that they've been having. Wesley Strader's been doing really good as well. I think that he's going to be my wild card pick. I mean, obviously, he won the last two classics. Can he do it again? I don't know. That's why I put him as my wild card pick. He could possibly do it. I don't think that he won't be a factor. I think he'll be definitely a factor in the whole tournament. I think that he will do pretty darn well compared to other people. I think that he's going to at least get in the top 10. But will he? I don't know. That's the future. It's going to be a while for the tournament, but I figured why not go ahead and get this one out. Another key that I didn't even write down, that I just kind of remembered that I was going to write down, is people who are going to make long runs looking for very big fish. I think there's going to be quite a few people who are going to go after big fish only. And if there is, I think that those people are probably going to go a long ways to look for those big fish. I don't think you're going to catch them at the ramp. That's for sure. I don't think you're going to catch 5-10 pounders at the ramp. I think there's going to be a handful of people looking for big largemouth the whole way. I think that if a couple people get it in their minds to catch big largemouth, go out there and catch those giant fish, and just fish for 5 bites. That's all they need. 5 bites. If they can fish for those 5 bites and get them and capitalize on them, I think they could possibly do it. Whether they'll win the whole tournament doing that, I don't know. I think it'll be I think that the best plan for anybody, this is what I would do. Now, obviously, I'm not a tournament fisherman, but I've been watching a lot of tournaments, and I know how to fish, and I've been a lot of places, and I've caught a lot of fish in a lot of different places. I think that if I was there, and it was opening day, first day of the tournament, my whole plan would be to scout out where I should be fishing on the final day. Fish as best as you can in the mornings and the evenings, and in the middle of the day, you need to be looking for anywhere where you could possibly fish the next day. And then the next day, you want to do the same thing and the same thing. Something that I would do if I was them, the main whole thing that I would do is get a limit quick. Doesn't matter how you get it, just get a 5-fish limit quick. Whether that's throwing something like this guy here, a big creature bait, or throwing something small like this guy here, throwing a small 2-inch swim bait, whatever it is, get a 5-fish limit quick, and then go monster hunting. That's what I would do. That's what I do anyway. A lot of the times, especially if I'm doing a bet or something. I've bet with my dad before, like $5 bets and stuff like that on who can catch the biggest fish or who can catch the most fish, who can have the biggest 5-fish limit. What I normally do is I'll go out with a small worm on a drop shot or a shaky head, get my first 5, weigh them, write them down or whatever, and then I'll go and I'll start throwing stuff like this, big 13-inch worm. And I'll start throwing an 8-inch slammer worm or a big 5.5-inch brush buster. I'll start throwing bigger stuff. I'll start throwing chatterbaits. I'll start throwing big spooks, big topwater baits. I'll start throwing bigger creature baits. I think that the best thing for any of them, doesn't matter who, I think that the best thing for any of them to do is to get a limit quick and then go monster hunting. That's my opinion. Now, I doubt there's going to be any Bassmaster people watching this. But if you do, if you win by any of my techniques, let me know. Okay, tell me. Give me a shout out, all right? Also, if there's any Bassmaster guys that want to purchase any of these big monster fish baits, this is the new Brush Buster by Doxler Company. let me know down the email as well. I have an email in the description. You can email me there. PayPal is accepted. And, you know, if you want to throw this monster magnet worm, you can do that as well. That'd be a heck of a bait to catch a big bass on. So if there is any Bassmaster guys that are going to be in the Classic, let me know, because I'd say here pretty soon you probably won't be able to get them before the Classic. So let me know before you know the Classic is too close. So yeah, thank you guys for watching once again. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. Yeah, bye.